Hi there, happy hump day. It must be Wednesday. So today we are talking all things influence. How you influence, how you understand others, how you build the ability to connect with people. Now, when you think about the word influence, do you think it's something that you can learn? Or do you think that when you're influential, it's just a skill that you're born with from birth? Now, for me, I absolutely come from the school of thought that influence is a skill that can be learned. So just like lots of other skills that are out there, if you want to become more influential, it is something that you can learn. And that's an important thing to consider, because if you don't know how to influence, particularly in an environment that's complex and changing, you'll find it much harder to get traction and to be able to get things done. And if you can't get traction, if you can't get things done, you're going to find that it impacts how you're seen, and ultimately over time it impacts your career. So here are my top 10 hints or techniques, or whatever you want to call it, of the things that you need to consider to help you determine how you can better influence at work. Firstly, understand yourself. It's impossible to understand others if you don't start with understanding yourself. What triggers you, your mindset, the assumptions that you're using in relationships, and how you make decisions. Because all of those assumptions and expectations are going to filter into how you connect with people and how you build relationships, and ultimately how you make decisions. Secondly, understand others. Take the time to understand what's the agenda of the other person. How are they intrinsically motivated? The more you have insight into other people, the better you're going to be able to work with them, build relationships with them, hear what they have to say, so that you can build mutually beneficial outcomes. Thirdly, understand the system. We all operate within a system. Organizations are systems. So you need to understand how your organization operates, how the people in the system connect with each other, how they make decisions, how they secure outcomes. The more you understand the dynamics in that system, the better you're going to be able to get things done. Fourthly, maintain your integrity. Once you lose your integrity, it's almost impossible to regain it. So it really is something that you want to guard carefully, because if you're going to put your integrity at risk in terms of when you make decisions and how you make decisions, if you're not seeking to play a long-term game, you're going to find yourself in trouble down the track. Number 5, get busy on purpose. Influential people, they just get stuff done. So you need to be conscious about how you use your time. You need to be decisive when you make decisions. And lastly, you need to be determined in the face of setbacks. Number 6, play the long-term game. And that means really thinking about the long-term relationships that you want to have with people. You want to build constructive, sustainable relationships, because one-sided relationships where it's all about you, they won't get you to where you want to get to in the long term. And that connects to the 7th point, which is really being clear about how you design your network. You want to be conscious about who's in it. You want to be conscious about how you're building the relationships. You need to identify where there's gaps, where there's strengths, and what you need to do to close those gaps. Number 8, lead consciously. And by that I mean be really conscious of your actions. Be conscious about how you're seen. Be conscious of the reputation that you're building. Because when there's inconsistencies between what you say and what you do, people are going to notice that. And that's going to connect to how people see you, whether they want to do business with you, whether they want to build relationships with you, whether they want you to be in their team. Number 9, craft your communication. It's interesting with communication, because often we think the more we communicate, the more successful we will be. And often it's not the case at all. It's not how much you talk, it's about the effectiveness of your message. So you need to ground your messages in reality and really understand the audience that you're talking to. Keep it simple, be authentic, be transparent, and above all else, be empathetic when you're talking with people. Number 10, negotiate wisely. You need to know how you negotiate. And that means you need to understand the other person. You need to make sure that you're seeking to secure outcomes where both parties to the negotiation walk away with their dignity intact. And that connects to the earlier point around building long-term relationships. Because if you enter a negotiation where it's all about you and you don't care about what the other person's needs may be, sure, you might win the negotiation that time, but you can bet that the second time you come to negotiate with them, they're not going to be friendly or receptive to what you have to offer. So, they're my 10 tips. I'm sure you have some that you would love to add to the list. So I'd love to hear your ideas. And if you'd like to know more about the art and science of negotiation and influence, then come along to my Step Up and Influence course, which I run in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne, and you can find details on my website. So take care, and I'll see you next week.